Hello viewers, I am Gauravatri, Assistant Professor from the Department of Commerce. Today we will be talking about personal finance and planning, under which one of the most important agenda or the topic to be discussed is protection planning. So in today's topic, we will be discussing about protection planning, under which we will be discussing its introduction, its meaning, the concept of protection planning, areas that are being covered under protection planning and its need and importance. So let's begin our discussion. When we are talking about protection planning, an individual needs to protect himself against various sort of uncertainties for which he is going to go for an insurance. But insurance also needs certain sum of money, it needs certain portion of your earnings to get yourself protected from a probable risk. And before going on with this protection, before going on with this risk, you need to make a plan of yourself for the probability of losses or any uncertainty which may occur. And such sort of planning is going to be known as a protection planning. So, when we talk about protection planning, it is a comprehensive financial plan before making any other component of investment, retirement planning or estate planning is going to be done, in which you are going to think about that what all are your probable areas that you need to secure before making any investment or taking any insurance or buying any real estate or any property, because you have certain dependents on you who needs to be protected for your own assets and any of the liability which you are going to have. In financial consequences like loss of income, medical expenses or any other ancillary cost, all these needs to be protected well in advance while we are going to have our portfolio designed. Let's talk about the meaning of this protection planning. An individual needs to protect himself against the various consequences that may occur during his course of life, in which he needs to protect oneself and the assets of an important event in case of untimely death or disability or any other catastrophic event which may occur in an individual's lifespan, because any such type of hazard or disturbance is going to create a problem in your financial plans, because there may be a blockage in your income or any uncertain financial burden may occur on you. It is important that a financial plan should take into consideration the risk that one cannot afford to take. That means all type of systematic or unsystematic risk you need to consider, and these are the risks which you cannot avoid and you cannot supplement it with any of the other insurance or investment. So you need to keep a prior consideration for such sort of risk, like by creating an emergency fund. In a portfolio, one person can diversify their holdings as to reduce their overall risk, and some needs to be done with respect to protecting one's overall financial situations as well. So he is going to create a fund and he is going to invest in various sort of investment avenues with the help of a portfolio. But this diversification will be successful once our earnings are not going to be stopped or they are in a smooth manner. But what will you do if your earnings are stopped or they are being blocked due to certain reasons for a certain period of time? Then your entire financial planning for various sort of risk and returns that will be done through insurance or investment are going to be disturbed. So you need to make a very strong financial plan for such uncertainties, and the proper allocation of insurance coverage should be taken so the risk of life, disability, health or any movable and immovable assets can be covered with the help of such protection plans. To understand the concept of protection planning, I have got certain questions to be asked and you need to give a silent reply to them to yourself. The very first question is that, will you be able to maintain your lifestyle if you could no longer work? Will you be able to maintain the things if you have lost your job? Will your children be able to take into adulthood if you are no longer around them in case of any casualty? Will your child be able to maintain the same things in the same format? What are the impact of your business if you are a key person where unable to work if there is a loss of a limb or any other unforeseen activity happens? Then will you be able to maintain your business in the same style, in the same parameter? If you have got any of these questions to be answered as no, or your yes is not 100% sure, then my dear all, we need to think about one thing that is called as protection planning, whereby we need to protect our assets, we need to manage our liabilities, and how we are going to meet our debts. All these things should be well organized, well planned in advance, which is known as protection planning, where you need to diversify your funds, you need to manage your earnings, and you need to have proper insurance for all these things. So that is where protection planning stands for an individual as well as even for a firm and a business concern, because they also need to protect their assets, they also need to manage their liabilities. So let's talk about the key areas of protection planning, whereby the first area to keep in concern is your life insurance, which is directly talking about the death of a head of a family or the key person in a business. What will happen if that person is no longer available? In such a case, will you be able to stand with the same financial liberty that you are enjoying right now? How will you manage your funds? How will you organize your activities? So, in all such cases, you need to manage and maintain a good protection plan for your dependents, for your upcoming generations. Second one is your income protection, whereby in income protection you think about the monthly salary, the earnings that you are going to make from a business. What will happen if this earnings or salary is going to be blocked for a certain period of time? Will you be able to manage your livelihood? Will you be able to manage the same standard of living? Will you be able to write off your credits that you would have taken? So, you need to have a good planning, a financial strategy should be there to write off any such type of liabilities that are occurring due to income blockage or any disturbance in your recurring earnings. So, you need to make a protection plan for that. Next, very important area for protection planning are your assets. You need to properly maintain and manage your assets. Why? Because these are the assets which you would have accumulated over a period of time from your recurring income, from your earnings that you would have accumulated over a period of time. And these assets you may be using for certain collateral securities as an mortgage towards your future loan or debts. So you need to have a proper strategy to protect such assets. And if they are not going to be protected, then your future is unsecured as well as your past earnings are also going to be waste. So you need to think about these assets also. And last not least, an area which is always discussed as your health or medical insurance is critical illness. If a person suffers from such an illness which is very critical, a person may be bedridden, he may be dependent on someone else. So how you are going to maintain and manage your medical expenses, your health, how you will be able to cope up with such a situation. So you also need to think for your critical illness in case of such circumstances, how you are going to maintain and manage your such type of expenditures, for which you need to make a proper budget, for which you need to have a proper analysis of your earnings and spendings, and with the help of which you need to have a written document ready with you, which is going to known as a protection plan. So, after discussing all these areas of protection planning, I hope by now you are able to understand the need of this protection plan, whereby protection plan is needed for having a proper peace of mind for a person, because even after having investments done, even after having insurance taken, things are going to be uncertain. So, at the very starting of these insurance and investment strategies, you should always make a plan for yourself to write off such uncertain situations, which can be done with the help of this protection planning. The second need arises as a safety net, because every individual needs to take certain type of risk and uncertainties are always going to be there. But the way a safety net works in a circus, whereby it helps a person to get safe from being dropped. Similarly, with the help of this protection plan, you will be able to save yourself from a financial drop. So, you can have a benchmark, you can set your things with the help of this protection planning. Then it is also helpful to save your time to get back on your feet. You can stand alone, you can come back, and you can have a revival plan for yourself in case of such disturbances. And last not least, it can protect what's important to you. So you can set your priorities, you can arrange your funds in a style, and you can think about that what is of the most importance and how you need to save it with the help of a financial plan. Which areas are of more importance to go for insurance. So all these things are going to be of much more need. Let's quickly talk about certain importance of protection planning, whereby the first planning is risk of incapacity. When a person becomes incapable of meeting his own needs, meeting his own requirements, and he is not able to write off his liabilities, in that situation, protection planning can give a little help to such circumstances. Then, risk of business losses. Every person, every business is going to have losses, but how you overcome from these losses are more important. And to overcome from this, you need to have a good financial strategy. So your losses can be recovered with the help of certain dynamic investments, whereby you can diversify your funds and you can have proper insurance to overcome from any uncertain situation like fire, earthquake, or any other losses. So you can have a protection plan which can help you to overcome from such business losses. The next is the risk of going into a nursing home. Everyone is frightened of a medical expenses, and we cannot avoid them because they become of utmost importance. But how you manage your medical expenses, how you manage your health expenditure, what type of insurance you would have taken in the starting can help you to manage your nursing expenses and your losses due to this. Then next is losses due to state tax. A person who is going to make any capital gain or long-term capital benefits is going to have a much of his proportion gone into the taxes. So with real estate gain, with capital gain, or any sort of other benefit that you are going to get, you need to manage yourself with the taxes that are going to come as a burden on all these gains that an individual would have done. These can also be managed with the help of a proper protection planning, whereby you can very well diversify your funds in various investment avenues, another real estate, or with other government bonds. And the last one is the risk presented by your beneficiaries, because as we discussed earlier, in case of your death, insolvency, or loss of assets, how your beneficiaries, how your successors are going to manage with it. It can be maintained, it can be solved with the help of your protection plan, because it is a planning which can be taken post your retirement, even after your death, or in case of any critical illness. So that is going to be the importance of your protection planning. In coming classes, we will be talking about one of the most important, or the method for having a protection plan is insurance, whereby with the help of insurance and your protection plan, you can get yourself safe from your future uncertainties. So in next class, we will be discussing about insurance strategies. Thank you for now.